Hello and welcome back to Disco Elysium. We may not have our hat, but we have information on something which may be better. A crab person wearing a mesh tank top who goes upside down on church walls. Let's go. Heavy wooden doors more than twice your height stand in front of you. The rectangular sea-worn ornamentation appears in stark contrast to the padlock carelessly drilled into the wood. Inspect the carpentry. The carving in the door is block-like and angular like the church itself. Two large beams shoot downwards, sinking into the wood before they reach the threshold. I'm going to run my hand over a beam. The surface is smooth from the wind, but moist to the touch. Feels exceptional. 300 tons of pine wood fit together seamlessly. It's old too, cut and carved many centuries ago. Let's take a close look at the padlock. This cheap looking padlock is sturdily built. It shackles together a hasp and a staple screwed into the wooden door. The lock is adorned with a yellow sticker. It'll be easier to break through the staple than the lock. Also, that sticker is interesting somehow. Let's look at the sticker. You see a yellow circle with two X's and a big curve below them that looks like a mouth. You're pretty sure you haven't seen it before, but what the symbols depict is clear enough, a smiling dead guy. The curves make up the smile and the X's make it dead. There's something blindingly modern about this symbol. Its modernness puts to shame everything you've seen before. What makes it so modern? It's the contrast between this cheery, chemical yellow and the rigor mortis, as if the cheery guy didn't know he was dead or the dead guy didn't care that he was. Either way, you get the sense the forces of the future are at work here. Have you seen the symbol before? He takes off his glasses and uses a blue handkerchief to thoroughly wipe them clean before inspecting the sticker. Then he looks up, pauses and replies. No. What does it look like to you? It looks like a dead man smiling, suggests junior delinquency. What is suggestive of junior delinquency here? I haven't seen that sticker before, and I am not a youth. Well, I agree it's very modern, but does the cheery guy not know that he's dead, or does the dead guy not care that he is? What is the source of the irony here? That level of conceptual thinking is not part of my skill set. I would like the sticker. There's nothing like the sound of a sticker unpeeling, and now it's stuck to your thumb. I'm gonna stick it on my ledger, right on the cover. Voila! Looks very modern. Secret task complete, style your paperwork. You're part of the future brigade now, and so is your formerly humdrum ledger. Neon, baby! Let's open the padlock with a key. The lock turns easily. You hear a click as the shackle pops open. Let's go. Lieutenant nods to you. Pulling open the doors, as you do, you hear an echo of the doomed commercial area. Its black halls and dusty machines. Then the feeling passes. A great whoosh of air rushes into the dark innards of the church, as though rushing to fill a great vacuum in the heart of the city. Okay. That is awesome. There's us. A strange stillness fills you as you look ahead. You should walk here, not run. More of the forked lightning pattern you saw outside. Bark beetles? No, it looks intentional. Some long-forgotten style. This grotesque wooden figure looks half-finished. The blackboard is filled with complex equations. They look recent. Interesting. Something to do with radio frequencies? Okay. Is this where the people who made the RPG went? The bowl is filled with water. A live wire runs directly into it. Could these wires work as contact microphones? The silence in this part of the church is almost palpable. All the shifting matter and shuffling of living things is gone. Nothing seems to exist beyond the church anymore. Maybe if you were to stand in just the right spot, even your footsteps would be completely silent. Wait, I think I still hear something. And then it's gone, almost all of it, but for the faintest of hums. You can hardly hear your own breathing. I'm going to yell as loud as I can. Your voice is barely audible, not a howl but the softest of whimpers. It's unnerving. Stomping my feet and clapping my hands. You produce a few muffled thumps, after which the silence feels even more total somehow. What's happening, Kim? Lieutenant points to his ears and shakes his head, then he leans closer. Can you hear anything? Not really, but it's extraordinary. I've never experienced anything like this. I wonder why the church was built with such strange acoustics. His detached tone conceals how uncomfortable he is. What if it's something paranatural? Please, detective, not this again. Let's look up into the bell tower. The orderly rows of ceiling panels become barely visible, then disappear completely in the darkness of the tower overhead. Let's try and see beyond the shadows. Check failure. Oh no. Oh no. Nothing about that can be good. Just darkness without end. It makes your head spin. What's the darkness like? Filled with vague shapes of woodwork. The sense of a great height. Try to make out something, anything. There's nothing. You're dizzy and disorientated as you see dark and more dark rising. Officer, what is it you are looking at? He follows your gaze, attempting to see whatever it is you are seeing. I'm gonna blink. Okay. That's freaky. You see something hanging from the rafters, looking straight at you with dark eyes. Maybe it's possible to talk to it? Hello there. Creepy guy. Is that a man? Looks more like part of the carpentry of the building came alive and is now studying you intently. The crab man. Hey, who's there? The man leans forward a little, fixing you with a steady, unreadable gaze, then speaks.
I bet your alcohol use has made you into a scared little pussy, Holmes. But don't worry. Everything's gonna be alright. You've come to the right place.
That accent is Villalobos, a peninsula in Mesk, and a district in Jamrock. There's a sizable contingent of Villalobos-speaking Mesks in Revachol. The right place for what?
Here you can receive the mother's love. And when you're ready, she will take your hand and lift you out of the despair at the bottom of the bottle.
This man is obviously a habitual narcotics user. Do we really need to question him?
He lives in the rafters of the church, Kim. Of course we need to question him. I'm put off by this religious stuff, he thinks. And maybe this ceiling climbing too. It's all very hard to square with the lieutenant's own view of reality. Hey, what was that about the bottle again? You haven't even drank that much lately. Lay off it already. Jeez. Right. Well, yeah, I guess I have had a bit of a problem, and it's been getting out of hand lately, but...
Estás crudo, eh? I see deep inside you. Your body and spirit are suffering greatly from overindulgence, and you don't even know it.
How do you know what I'm feeling?
I was like you once, just dragging my feet to the next bottle. Shit was dark, Holmes.
You know, actually, since we're here, you may want to pay attention to what the ceiling climber is saying.
Really? Okay, well... Yeah, for some reason I feel like you have a point there.
Don't trust me, trust the mother. I'm only the messenger, Holmes.
His voice echoes in the cold air of the church.
This is the Church of the Mother of Silence. You are welcome here.
He sways gently on the beams, waiting for you to take it all in. This Mother of Silence sounds like a serious player. You might want to be careful until you find out what you're dealing with. Do you know where the other spooker is? Pointing at the machines around me. Other spooker. Oh, esta Vegeta estudiosa. He laughs. Dono Holmes. Wait, so there is another person living in the church and it's a Vegeta? No, I just call her Vegeta because of her clothes. She's actually quite young. He scratches his head. Or maybe not that young. Age is just one of the many masks we wear. And you don't know where she is. That's what I said, Holmes. How can you not know that when you both live here? Don't really follow her comings and goings, just see her typing on their computer now and then. We got different interests. So you got nothing else to tell me? How she looks, what she does? Who is she? I'm afraid not, they say. You just have to wait until she comes back, or... He shrugs. Or search through a radio computer. Some ravers want to turn this place into a nightclub. They're the ones in the tent outside, right? I seen them. They're scared of me. Okay. Well. So what do you think about the nightclub, that is? Why not? They wouldn't bother me none. I'm usually up there imbibing. Ain't no music on earth that can reach where I go. Might be nice to have some company. He said that in spite of himself. He's more attached to the human than he'd like to think. He must be the crab man. Never known myself to be a crab, but if that's the name you got for me, I won't stop you from using it. If you're not a crab, then what are you? He considers this for a moment. I always thought of myself more like a flame, flickering along the rafters and beams. He pauses. It may be that I got to work on my technique. What were you before you became a crab man? I was in a gangway, but my memories of that time are fading. Most of them are already gone. I lost my memory too, and it haunts me. He looks at you as if he wants to pat you on the back. No, man, you got to let that shit go. Then the mother's light touch will fill you with the rapture. Do you remember your name, sire? Diego is my name, but those syllables don't mean much to me these days. A name isn't your identity, but also isn't just your identity, but also, so to speak, your place among your fellows, your place in the world. Ain't got no use for such a place anymore. Well, my name's Harry. Extending my hand for a greeting. That's just the thing, Holmes. None of that matters. He ignores your hand. His limbs a mere shadow below the ceiling. What are you doing here? This is a special place. There's a reformation in the world up here. A way out into nothingness. He nods towards the ceiling. The church was built around it for the purposes of veneration. I circle it, nurtured by the silence bestowed by the mother. One of these days, I'll be pure enough to drink from it directly. What will happen once you drink from this perforation? I will be incinerated, but not destroyed. Finally at the one with the states of the world before reality began. Who's this mother of silence you keep talking about? Oh, that ain't no simple question, essay. She is the one who can't be painted or sculpted. She is a cavity in the dark beyond sense. She saved me, but I couldn't describe her to you. No one can, Holmes. No one ever will. You sure you didn't just switch one drug for another? It's not like that, man. Just faith and joyful service. Dude lethal for those words. He's lying, not to you, to his own self. Faith is a kind of drug. He shakes his head. I've heard that one before, Way, and I know I can't convince you on the spot, but think. When's the last time you woke up from silent communion with a hangover, regretting what you did last night? There are drugs darker than alcohol circling in your system. I think love might have been my drug of choice, and I think I'm still hungover from it. He looks at you gravely. He took you for a good spin, huh? Don't worry, bro. That love is but a drop compared to the ocean of mother's love. And the mother will eat all of you and never spit you out. Well, I guess you have a point. I know it'll take time. Don't sweat it. I still understand what you're doing in the church. I'm a seraph, Holmes. I sing the mother's glory. Can you sing for me? Sing for me something? I ain't from no Mariette, if that's what you're thinking. The song I sing is silent as the mother. Mariette is a mesque style of music and dance commonly seen at all manners of festivities, especially weddings. It's delightfully quaint owing to its peasant origins. How did you even find this place, this church? Hard to say. I think I did some construction work here back when I had material worries. Up there, I realized what the true purpose of the church was. Been spending a lot of time here ever since. The past is nothing to me now, Way. It didn't belong to me. Other questions? You've been here a long time. Do you know why the church was abandoned? Police raid a while back, he responds, his voice suddenly flat. Oh, so this was the last time the RCM was here. The dark kind of shadows that were brought over this place. Did you witness it? Not really, or at least I don't remember much of it. The mother's love has done its job. That's what's so great about the mother. Let you forget about everything. Okay then, thanks. Well, good to speak to you, Diego. I'm just going to be having this. A silk scarf that raises pain threshold. Also, just to get these off my screen. Right. And with a new thought, the wasteland of reality. It has been brought to your attention that you're an alcoholic, and that it's a sickness, and that it's killing you. You're crawling on your knees through life, your booze-filled belly dragging on the ground, your brain now fuzzy, now in overdrive, your hair sticking together with today's cold sweat and yesterday's vomit. Perhaps they're right, anything is better than this, even bone-dry reality itself. Maybe you can quit. Okay. Clothes, now with the scarf. There's a huge red scarf that's dusty from lying in the church. A subtle red on red embroidery embellishes it with cocky roosters and a mesque floral motifs. Okay. A figure drawn in the frost on the window depicting a deer. A figure drawn in frost on the window depicting a deer. Frost has drawn flowers in the glass, obscuring the view. Hey, a bottle. We'll have that. Over here. A cracked pane of glass, colourful. Oh, what's this? Alright, go further. Further. A spider has spun its web around this wood-carved pillar. Shoes? Hey, a pair of Mesque's Banger Red Rouge? Butchered that. These dapper snakeskin shoes have an almost invisible white-on-white flower motif sewn into the tongue. The toe caps are still dusty from lying in the church, so it gets us empathy. What do our current shoes get us? Perception. So we basically have authority, perception, or empathy. I quite like perception. We'll keep it. I'll take the money as well. Right. Down here. Some more things to click on first. A portable Harman Waushi tape recorder. Is it possible it's recording something? 2 decks of reel-to-reel tape spinning on empty. This? The machine stands in the corner, watched over by figures on the stained glass window. It's turned on and quivering with soft electricity. Another video computer? The lieutenant stepping close. Says the lieutenant stepping closer. And this time it's already turned on. He seems cautious around this machine. These machines sometimes harbor traps, he thinks. Alarm systems and the like. Let's be careful. we should leave. I doubt this bears any connection to the case. Yes, but this machine looks like the one in the doomed commercial area. It's also quite similar to the one we have down at the station. Must be the same model. He inspects the machine's framework, careful not to touch anything. The one you saw earlier was a REM Civic. This is a REM Perfect, a model number RC7024, equipped with a Feld mainframe and a REM-compatible interim printer. The REM Prefect is the governmental version of the commonly used REM Civic model. Although mostly based on the same technology, the REM Prefect is equipped with a better noise attenuation circuits. Let me just investigate it. Step behind the computer. You see a Versant play and print button on the keyboard. A hatch connected to a central compartment is wide open. Lieutenant says nothing. You see the machine's glowing frame reflected back from his diamond-shaped glasses. You're free to proceed. Look inside the compartment. Behind the hatch sits a cube-like crisscross of filament, smouldering in the dark like fireflies. Silver tape on the side says in black marker, log, February to March. Another filament memory. Press play to talk with the repeater. Play. A speaker comes to life. Static seeps through the machine's planar magnetic driver. An old lady greets you. Her voice sounds 100 years old. Good afternoon. Fortress accident on St. Bruns. This is East Insulindian. Repeater station 1. Please repeat. Is this the personal log? It's the same old woman you spoke with through the radio computer in the doomed commercial area. Yvonne, it's me again. How are you? Good, thank you. It's not clear whether she recognizes your voice. Please repeat. Is this the personal log? Fortress accident, like the one in the doomed commercial area? You have 2 machines registered to this company, name and Martinez. One in Saint Brun, the other in Rue de Saint Ghislaine. Saint Brun? That's the church? The lieutenant gestures around him. And Rue de Saint Ghislaine? That's the doomed commercial area. Anything else I can help you with? Let's look inside the core, but the tape on the filament just said log Feb to Mar. Good. Please repeat the password. Let's try to look around. There's no use trying to guess the answer. Maybe he knows something? Lieutenant nods towards Diego. A password? I'm really bad at passwords. Can you give me a hint? No. A hint system is not part of the protocol for repeater systems. I don't know the password. Received. I will register this log attempt. Login attempt? That sounds bad. A login attempt. Something a criminal would do. Fortress accident. Is there anything else I can do for you today? No, I'm done. Goodbye, Fortress accident. She stares as her voice disappears into a whirl of static. And the machine's keyboard is still illuminated, giving us the play and print buttons. Let's press print. Nothing happens. Alright. Someone siphoning electrical current from outside into this antenna. Okay, hey Diego.
Oh, hey, wait. There's coffee in the back. Oh, wait. I'm in the mother's love.
Coffee in the back. Sounds something familiar about that. Coffee and stale cookies. What was that about coffee? I feel like I've heard it somewhere before. Look, man, I'm at liberty to talk about the sacred blaze of Mother's glorious heat, but not about the coffee. Have you by any chance heard the Vegeta say the password to a radio computer? Too many times I say. You need it for something? Surveys are a good way to fish for personal information, especially in the name of public safety. I'm just doing a survey of passwords and passcodes identifying regional trends in the interests of public safety, of course. Don't sweat it, Veto. The password is afterlife death. What do you think of that? Makes me almost pity the la nihiliste pequena when I hear it. I think we're done here, S.A. The figure crawls off into the darkness above. That was an interesting conversation. However, I'm still not sure how it's relevant to our investigation. So he's just gone. We got everything relevant and he just left. He just pieced out. Alright, well, radio computer, I guess. We could go in there, but let's not. Press play. Yes, I have the password. Afterlife death. Good, I've unlocked the filament. After ending the call, please press print to access the filament. Alright, finished. Print. The printer prints out a long text document with dated paragraphs. It looks a bit like someone's journal. Let's read it. First entry made on the 4th of February 52 by an unknown author is short and concise. Arrived at the church. The door was boarded up, so I used the crowbar to get inside. Looks like the place has been deserted. Nothing out of the ordinary, but I'll ask around. Need to figure out how to get the electricity in. Lieutenant leans closer, scouring the printout over your shoulder. Just as you finish reading, he looks up, muttering under his breath. The 4th of February, that's over 1 month ago. Whoever set up these machines has been here quite a while. Think it might be related to the case? Our case? No, I don't think so. It must be some local. His eyes wander to the various machines around him. Eccentric. Let's read the second entry. 6th of February 52. Had a little chat with a local fisherman. Said I shouldn't go near that place. That church was spooky and ridden with narcotics. It's a little spooky, alright. Still haven't figured out the electricity. See? Even one of the spookers themselves said it's unnerving. See? Ridden with narcotics, just like Andre said. Third entry. 7th of February 52. Finally got the electricity in. Next on the agenda, new antenna. Thinking Esker series. Something advanced. Why would you need an antenna? Why would anyone need any of this equipment here? He steps on a wire running on the ground, inspecting it with his boot. Read the fourth entry. 8th of February 52. Bought the antenna. Had some problems setting it up. Called Simo for help. Heard the others are back to making art. Drinking somewhere out of town. Sulisflaw started a rock band again. Lexi has been asking money from strangers. At least the artists have their act together. They're qualified labor and can get work anywhere. Graphic design, ads. The programmers are doing fine too. I mean, they're programmers. The writers, though, they're fucked. Oh, so this is definitely related. Yes, so this is very much related to the role-playing game, and she is one of the role-playing game makers, I guess. I just have to find out what caused the data loss and be done with it. I still don't understand how it managed to wipe out the backup when the backup wasn't even connected to the front. I know everyone thinks it's impossible. They say I must be lying. I'm here to set it right. Artists, programmers, Lexi, who are all these people? I think these people worked on the radio computer games business. The ones we saw in the doomed commercial area. They must be her former co-workers. A data loss? Seems like something to do with radio computers. Unfortunately, I don't know enough about them to understand what the other is saying. Something about the backup drive getting destroyed, and how everyone thought it was the other's fault. He adjusts his glasses. Let's just keep reading. The fifth entry. 12th of February 52. Brought some food from the grocery store. Apparently, there's a strike going on in the harbour. Definitely not happy to see the Martinez people again. Everything's now set up in the church. Going to start working tomorrow, 8 AM. The strike? He strokes his chin. We're nearing the state of the murder. Keep reading. I'm interested now. I want to know what that radio anomaly I want to know what's that radio anomaly that sent this person here in the first place. Read the sixth entry. 25th of February 52. I've been sending data up to Lintel for a while now, trying to recreate the data loss, but nothing. Didn't even feel like logging in the disappointment. But I did discover a curious audio-spatial anomaly at the back of the church. I've named it the Swallow. It swallows sound. Need to get some mics. Is she talking about? Lieutenant looks to his right towards the silence. The seventh entry. 28th of February 52. Yes, the first recordings confirm that the Swallow is real, and I'm not just losing my mind. It's a pillar of silence with a diameter of approximately 3 meters. Seems the higher I go, the less I record. This might be a coincidence, or it could be connected to the data loss that led me here. The pillar of silence? She is talking about the silence? Is she suggesting it's more than just an architectural quirk? What could it be? Look at the water basins behind me. Lieutenant doesn't answer. He follows your gaze, studying the basins. The water shines in them. No ripples. 8th entry. March 52. Some kind of young disco men have appeared next to the church. I've been trying to record the silence to find the epicenter, but now it turns out I've also been capturing the future of dance music, one neo-disco song over and over again. Fortunately, the song is so monotonous I was able to devise an algorithm to factor it out. The other day, one of the disco men came in. Before I could even say hello, she got scared and left. Good, I don't want anyone distracting me from my work. That disco man must be Estelle. She must be describing Estelle. The girl on the ice sounds like her, yes? 9th entry. March 52. I got a call from the repeater station. Someone has tried to access the radio computer in our old office in Martinez. Can't do anything about it. The storekeeper still doesn't want to let me inside the building. Thinks I'm part of some kind of curse. How Martinez of her. Hey, that's me. I was the one who broke into that radio computer, and the storekeeper must be Plaisance. I knew it wasn't a good idea to meddle with that machine. No, it was a great idea. You're learning things. This is how you learn things about machines. 10th entry. March 52. A new 2-meter aux cable, noodles, crackers, ping energy drinks, water, toothpaste, gum, also some canned air. The reading is interrupted by the sound of the church door opening. Suna, the programmer, a strange woman, makes straight for the radio computer. Hello, Suna. How are you doing?
Breaking into my radio computer, I see.
She glares at you as she holds down the off button for several seconds. The machine reboots. Yes, you are breaking in, but not to her radio computer. You're a master circuit bender.
I do apologize for the intrusion, madame. We are with the RCM, you see.
I can assure you I'm an expert circuit bender. I'm not breaking into your computer. I'm using it to access the coalition military data links.
There are no coalition military data links. And even if there was, you couldn't access them over a civilian network.
Well, yes I could. I'm a cybernetic god. I'm using your REM prefect to commandeer the coalition warship Archer. I will turn its cannons upon its masters.
That's nonsense. You're just a police officer.
She barely looks up from the keyboard. You hear the machine whir back to life.
Now, please give me some room. I need 2 seconds to see that you haven't destroyed anything.
We should talk to her after she has rebooted the machine.
Definitely. Hey.
What is it?
The woman is still hunched over the keyboard, gently illuminated by the purring machine. I didn't break anything, did I?
No, you just printed out my personal log and wasted some paper.
It does not look like a big loss to her. Hey, are you the lead programmer of Whirl Untethered by any chance?
Yes. Or no, not anymore. That project is dead.
She doesn't seem surprised to be recognized, rather sad. Something passes over her face before she straightens her back. I'm sorry, but who are you? What are you doing here?
I am Sona Lukanen Kilde, the former lead programmer of Fortress Accident and RSA radios. I have over 16 years of programming experience, and I'm proficient in both Vox and Orbis languages.
Uh-huh.
If you're not here to hire me, I don't really know how can I help you.
She turns back to the terminal. That still doesn't answer what she's doing in an abandoned church. Have you seen the Crab Man? No. But you know he's around. Yes. He's seen you. And the Crab Man has seen you. I don't care. I don't care about the Crab Man. She really looks up, now tinkering with the machine's printer. Wow, she really doesn't. Not afraid this one. Why are there so many machines in this place? I brought them here. These are my machines. Please don't touch anything. Why'd you need this? Why'd you need an antenna? I use the R1 as my REM prefix processing unit. The REM prefix? That's your radio computer, right? Hmm. And that antenna is its processing unit. Yes. You really don't know anything about radio computers, do you? She has stopped working now. No, I'm a master circuit bender. I know everything. Then you certainly know that all radio computers perform operations on air. So in order to give more processing power, you need to invest in a good antenna. Wait, what's on air? On the front. The unified front of radio waves, licensed and controlled by Lintel in the East Insulindic region. It's all around us, she waves her hand. That's what on air means. Like love. And the AR1, is it a good antenna? She stops to think. Well, I guess it is. So far I've been quite satisfied with it. Martinez is an unstable region with bad coverage, and the operation has been surprisingly stable. It is not the cheapest one on the market, so I wouldn't recommend it for your regular red tape operations. Fraser 1000 is a foolproof line for civilians. Anyway, she turns back to her terminal. You should do some research before you decide to buy anything. Ask around, prepare the prices. There are many milius dedicated to that sort of thing. She liked telling you this. It calmed her nerves. What are you doing with your radio computer? I'm working. The machine seems almost alien with its pulsing core, the light casting her face in a strange shadow. Working on what? Could you... She closed her eyes. Could you... just for a moment. I'll get to the point. I really need to focus on something. Isn't your REM Prefect radio computer made exclusively for government use? So you do know something about computers. She looks up, almost proud of you. You're right, Prefect is mostly used by the government peeps. And you work for the government? No, I don't. So why do you have it? She inhales sharply before answering in a single breath. Because I needed something good for my investigation. A REM Civic has wildly agreed to be below all standards, so I had to upgrade. Besides, only a REM Prefect isn't such a big deal anymore. No, actually, it's kind of a big deal. You don't see a REM Prefect in every police department, for example. How did you get your hands on it? I know a friend who knows a friend who used to freelance for the Coalition. She says nonchalantly, scratching her ear. I was actually aiming for the military-grade REM Rationale series, but I couldn't find one. He pats her glowing machine. The Prefect is mainly based on the same technology as the REM Civic, so it's kind of a rip-off, but it does have better compatibility with the new antenna model, so I won't complain. What about those bowls of water over there? Oh, they are connected to my REM Prefect. She looks up. Whatever you do, please don't move them. Okay, thanks. Alright, I'll try not to touch anything. Next question. What are you doing in an abandoned church? You really like those questions, don't you? There's a hint of amusement in her tired eyes. I'm a police officer. It's my job to ask questions. I am conducting scientific research here. You can't throw me out, she says, ready to stand her ground. What research? I'm looking for the location of a 2mm hole in the world. Wait, what? She's looking for a disruption in the radio waves. That's what her personal log said. Lieutenant raises his brows but doesn't say anything. Is that hole connected to the data loss in your journal? Yes, that's what led me here. He stares at the burnished antenna on a nearby table. I suspect it may be something a bit more complicated than that. A hole in the world? What does that mean exactly? Exactly, what does it mean? There's something frantic about her as she locks her gaze with you, her eyes shining like pearls. Up until now, it's been possible to say what it is because it's impossible to measure nothing. What do you think it is? What qualities does nothing have? How do you measure something that does not exist? She's suddenly absorbed in the conversation, waiting for your answer. That's a little above your pay grade at the moment. I can't even understand how we're talking about something that doesn't exist, let alone measure it. You measure it by its surroundings, by that which does exist, she replies. Which is what I've been trying to do. I've tried using hydro-transducers to record the silence, to find out where it begins. Ha! Hydro-transducers! So that's what those water basins are, devices for recording sound through water. But honestly, it's not progressing very well. She grows silent, staring at her circle of basins. It looks like some ancient ritual. Do you have any idea where this hole might be located? Somewhere underneath those roof beams, I assume. She looks up, eyes trying to pierce the pitch black heights above without much success. Only a faint crisscross of the rafters can be made out from the dark, most of the tower disappearing into the shade. Strange things may flourish in the dark. Why there? There's this place at the back of the church, a place where audio vibration seems to decrease. I've named it the Swallow. The higher you go, the less you record. The Pillar of Silence? Are you sure it's not just an architectural quirk? Maybe, but it's oddly close to the physical coordinates of the data loss that led me to this place. This is where the Crabman lives. I know. Don't you think the Crabman might be somehow responsible here? No, I don't. She sounds mildly annoyed by this line of questioning, her hands typing hundreds of commands into the machine. You said your research isn't going well, why not? Because it's just trial and error trying to locate the Swallow, the exact point in space. And I don't have a... She stops mid-sentence. You know, it would be really helpful if you could just stop talking and let me work. That's all I wanted to know about the scary 2mm hole in the world. For now. Great. Her hands are whirling the keyboard. Thanks. How do you feel about anodic dance music? What? She squints her eyes. I hate it. I bet she hasn't even heard it. Same. It just doesn't connect here. Not like disco does anyway. Pointing to my heart. Or tapping on my heart. Maybe I'd have to be on drugs to get it, but to a sober mind it sounds just like uninspired rug whipping. No idea what it has to do with either dancing or music. Right. So how do you feel about a club for anodic dance music? This isn't about those speed freaks in the tent, is it? She looks up, shaking her head. I've got some news for you. It's not a nightclub they want to build here. What do they want to build then? Take a guess, why don't you? A community center space to help the elderly? The lead programmer sighs. I can't believe they got you so easily. Go have a talk with those up-and-coming entrepreneurs, will you? Thanks. Good luck, Lieutenant notes. I'm not coming in there. Right, I'll leave you to work in peace now. What's in here? A giant hole in the wall. Stained glass window. In white, silver, and apricot fiance, the young mother of humanism stands above you. A crack runs across her body. She is impossibly tall, oval-faced and sad, a dark and radiant majesty. This is her innocence, Dolores Dei. Cradled in her arms are a pair of glowing lungs, clearly visible underneath her flowing dress. You should kneel. I'm gonna kneel. Your knees touch the floor. The floorboards are hard and cold, and there you kneel amongst the snowdrifts. Diffused light falling on your hands from beyond the glass. The guy had lungs on his belt. Oh, okay. Let's close our eyes first. Let's look up. The woman looks down at you kneeling. She towers among her followers, archetypes, laymen, courtiers. There's a sad smile on her lips and a glint in her green-blue eye of what? Compassion? Remorse? She acknowledges the passing of someone who is still alive. You. No, she doesn't care about you. She only cares about her shiny sovereign's orb and her silk robes and getting to the aerodrome on time to leave. It's not possible to live. That great and desperate thought passes through your mind. As that great and desperate thought passes through your mind, the lieutenant draws an X-shaped cross from shoulder to shoulder. You can do the same as I get up. Your fingertips touch your chest 4 times. Then you rise from your knees into the apricot-coloured light of the window. Above you, the woman still smiles, her distant smile sundered by the crack in the glass. This is Dolores Dei. The old woman in the village was right. He looks around. There must be a DeLorean Church of Humanity in Martinez, or the small Pinewood Church in some records. You knew of this the place? It's a minor landmark, not easy to find. Most maps misplace it. He lowers his voice. It was built not long after Revachel's founding, 300 or so years ago by the first generation settlers. On the coast of an uninhabited archipelago where only animals had roamed before, in the wild reeds. Okay, what else do you know? There used to be 7 stave churches on the coast. Les Septieurs, they called them the 7 Sisters. Only one remains. The rest were burned in the Revolution or used for building materials. We should be respectful here. Although the building appears to be deserted, I do not believe we'll find anything connected to lynching here. Something else, perhaps. He looks at the machinery lying around. Respectful? Is the lieutenant a follower of DeLoreanism? A pang of guilt, lieutenant is leaving something out. Do you know why it was abandoned? I have a theory, yes. There is a pause, then he continues. There was a police raid a while back, though I heard the place was shot to pieces. The old woman in the village was being tactful with us when she didn't mention it. She has more respect for the RCM than many around here. Who conducted this raid? Well, your station was involved, I hear, though I can't be sure. You're not sure? 3 precincts were involved on the raid. People say Precinct 41 was one of them. I guess I could have been here. I'm sorry, I'm not saying you were. There was a pause. It was a clandestine operation. I don't know anything about it. Why it was conducted or who participated. I try not to pry into extra district matters. If I was here, I should find out what I was doing. Oh, good luck. You will not get information on a confidential operation from your station secretary just by calling. If you really don't remember, it might be better to keep this one forgotten. It happened a while ago. It's unimportant to our business in Martinez now. Kim, are you a follower of DeLoreanism? Oh yes, we all are. Her name, her body, her rule are synonymous with humanism. The laws we enforce are DeLorean in origin. I didn't think you were spiritual. It is not spiritual, it's constitutional. The DeLorean system does not demand faith, only accordance. Okay. How do I know that this is the mother of humanism? Despite the damage you've done to yourself, the title appears lodged in your hippocampus. This is Her Innocence Dolores Dei, the innocence of humanism, internationalism, and the welfare state, perhaps the most famous human being ever to have lived. No amount of Commodore Red can wipe her sad smile from your brain thing. It survived the deluge and haunts you still, and will haunt you forever as it haunts all men. What exactly is an innocence? The highest category of historic individual, the embodiment of the world spirit. A ruler? More, an innocence is elected to office by the founding party, a precedent that has taken place a mere 6 times in the entirety of history. The legal system of the Real Belt is built to accommodate innocentric rule should it coincide with our time. An innocence is infallible. The decisions made by one are not decisions, they are inevitabilities. What would have happened anyway, only accelerated, packed into decades instead of centuries. An innocence is a continuous compressed event, a sacred human being. It's an honor and glory to live when one is in office. Is one in office now? No, we are alone. Okay, when did she rule? Well, 300 years ago, in the wake of the discovery of the Sisola, the Insulindian, by explorers from the continent of Mundi. She is, among other things, the innocence of intersolary travel and the connected world. What else do I know about her? Many things. You know that she was a woman of the court, the wife of the influential Marquess, and eventually the principal advisor to Irene Le Navigateur, Queen of Sureness, modern day Sur-le-Clef. Also, she was gorgeous beyond beauty. Draped in ancient sadness, are you sure you want to remember this bit of historic trivia? Standing under a long, slender form like this, dwarfed? Right, where is this coming from? The past is a silo of sadness, fermenting. You should keep away. No, you must know. Okay, what else? Was she smart? Terribly, women of the court were expected to play both contract bridge and chess sufficiently well to prove an interesting challenge to a man. A similar grasp in matters of philosophy, theology, and science was encouraged. She was by all means a kept woman. She made most of her position in the antediluvian court, a court visited by the most prominent thinkers and artists of the day. In secret, she was becoming the era's preeminent philosopher of the state, a scalpel, a piercing gaze. She was almost preternaturally magnetic and intelligent individual. To her contemporaries, she appeared out of time, a messenger from the future of the species. We all fell in love with her, head over heels. Even before she was declared an innocence, her influence was tremendous. How come? It was on her advice that Irene Le Navigateur sponsored a number of voyages into the Pale, a costly, often tragic endeavour, ultimately vindicated by the discovery of the new world, the piece of reality you're standing on. She was crowned 2 years after the first expedition returned, setting into motion what was widely considered the greatest era of history, the DeLorean era. Wow. Wow, indeed. When her innocence was declared, the queen and the queen she had advised for years fell on her knees before her, she was so overcome with emotion that her lungs started glowing in her chest. Bystanders reported golden filaments lighting that the already sunlit chamber around her, clearly visible beneath her dress. That's why the lungs are the symbol of love for the cultures of the Real Belt. I want more. As did we all. The lands of the Mescan, the Occident, and even far away Supramundi Altogether, 21 of the 41 Mondal nations of the time immediately accepted inocentric rule, even before her crowning. Her crowning? In the city called Advesperasit in Vesper Messenia, her homeland, the name of the city means evening comes, but it happens on a winter's morning with the canals frozen and slush falling out of the sky. She was dressed in a white and pearl dress on an emptied out plaza with the crowd far away. Already her thieres, the secret servicemen of the Innocents, were worrying about an assassination attempt. She must have been beautiful. Oh yes, she looked like humanity's young mother, a perfect mother, insultingly beautiful, as if her face and her shoulders and hands were covered in soft down of underfeathers. You know this well, very well. Mid-winter snow was beating the cobblestones around her. A small attaché of officials stood by her as her thieres placed a white gold wreath on her head. The crowning was mostly witnessed by Secret Servicemen. Then what? One of the men in the Secret Service killed her 22 years later. The young man who had come to suspect that Dolores Dei was not entirely human, but something else. What? Something that had walked into our midst, watching us stumble for hundreds if not thousands of years until it decided to interfere in the course of our history. We were supposed to come up with this ourselves, the man was reported to have screamed at the Innocents. Well, she broke the Prime Directive. I mean, she had it coming. Dolores Dei was shot in the chest with a fowling piece 8 times. The man, thought to be insane, said he once touched her body and her body had been unnaturally warm like a furnace, and that sometimes while on duty he observed her forgetting to breathe for over 10 minutes. This inhuman quality was witnessed by many others as well. Glowing lungs and all, it's commonly attributed to mass hysteria and religious psychology. Was there something terrifying about her? Terrifying is a term too emotionally charged for your semantic memory, or what remains of it, but terrifying, a simple word. She was bad for humanity and you shouldn't have started thinking about her. No, there was something bad about her. I want to know. You already do. Although she is often considered the greatest human being ever to have lived, there was something ominous about Dolores Dei, constantly surrounded by her thieres. She was the most socially secluded and most self-aware of the Innocents. Some modern thinkers would consider her a war criminal for the campaign she waged on the Mesk state, and then there were the resettlement programs. What happened? The Mesk state tried to detach itself from the inocentric rule. Parts of the world were experiencing whiplash from accelerating into secularism. Her mandatory education programs and mass resettlement of upstream Magret were problematic as well. The centers were suppressed by the military force she called the Army of Humanity. She adored chess, yes, but also military war games. Dolores Dei often holds a tiny tin soldier between her index finger and thumb in icons such as this. Does she? Oh, not in this particular one, but in ones like this. Got it. She was also blonde, the blondest woman you've ever seen, with green eyes the colour of Pissant Mare Interregnum. Little is known of her Marché husband. It is as if he vanished from history after completing his role, which was to introduce Dolores Dei to the court. In conclusion, yes, there is something lonely, paranoid, and even terrifying that people seldom mention, but feel when they think of her. This subtle terror is part of her iconography. Officer, you've stood there for like over 5 minutes. Lieutenant's calm voice echoes in the cold air of the church. What are you thinking of, I might ask? She's somehow connected to the case. She's been dead for over 300 years. I am almost 1,000% sure she isn't connected to the case. He takes off his glasses to clean them. None of this is, in fact, this church, the ghost. This isn't a good place to get lost in. I'm going to reconstruct the cracked glass. It worked. A jigsaw of broken shards falls into place in front of you, a ghostly reconstruction of the stained glass window. Before it was shattered, there was an older woman beneath the younger one, and a text, a leitmotif below them both. What shattered this mosaic? A bullet? Unknown. Something during the raid the lieutenant mentioned, or just the hooligans looking for someone to break? Who is this older woman? It's Dolores. Oh no, the one below. The escutcheon on her throne says Irene the Navigator. She is depicted as an older woman wearing a thick-rimmed eyeglasses, holding a golden Reichsapfel in one hand and a scepter in the other. This is the queen, her Innocence Day advised. Above, she herself is whole. Small figures of wise men, common men, worshippers walk up the stairs to stand at her feet. Secret servicemen, Thuriers, stand in a row guarding her. It must have taken years to produce this work in all its dizzying detail. The motto, what does it say? Below both women in luminous black letter. Après la vie, mort, après la mort, la vie de nouveau. Then along the left side, après le monde, la grille, après la grille, le monde de nouveau. Alright, so after the something, death. So V, is that life? So after life, death. After death, a new life. My French is a little rusty, but that's what I'm going for. That would make sense. And then the second one says, after Le Monde, I don't know what Le Monde is. After something, Le Gris? After Le Gris, Le Monde Nouveau. After Le Monde is world. After the world, I don't know what Gris is. End? Maybe? No, end is something... It could be something like that. But that's the general kind of thing. So after the world, there is something. And then after the something, there is a new world? Oh. Well, thank you for the translation. After life, death. After death, life again. After the world, the pale. After the pale, the world again. Well, come on. How often does the pale come up in French? Like, in just common language here. This is the great leitmotif of humanism. A summary of the effect of the discovery of this isola, the insulindian on human thinking. A tremendous sea change akin to finding life after death. Lieutenant, this used to say after life, death, after death, life again. He nods. After the world, the pale, after the pale, the world again. This exaltation is common in DeLorean sacralism. In the early years, it was even incorporated into the RCM's slogan. No more, however. What's the RCM slogan motto now? Justice, union, prudence, and force. I like the other one better. So do I. Let's step back. The mother of humanism towers above you. A wax painting on the cracked pane of glass. Nothing changed in her expression. Let's turn away to leave. Oh. Hey! Her Innocence Dolores Dei like little figurines, huh? Like holding little men between her fingers, remember? What? You have the headless Flan Rider figurine. You should give it to her. Win her back. Yes, I should. This is a task of mine now. So very, very, very nifty. Nifty and mysterious. This is surely what the figurines are for. Offer figurines to Dolores Dei. If you meet her in person. One odd task to give yourself, but here we are. Alright, well, I'm going to end the episode there. This was a very weird time in the church, but I liked it. So thank you for watching. See you next time. Goodbye.